This is FS Academy Jetliner. We're going to introduce you to airline operations step by step, starting with a complete short-haul flight. We're in the A320neo and have just finished our pushback here at London Gatwick, bound for Barcelona. Make sure that the APU is running and we'll talk about jet engines. The A320 thrust levers have a set of detents that you'll need to be familiar with. Move the levers all the way forward to the toga position. This is the toga detent, which stands for takeoff go around. This setting will give maximum power when required for takeoff on a short runway or to initiate a go-around. It would be hard on the engines and use a lot of fuel if we used maximum power for every takeoff, so instead we use a reduced thrust setting known as flex. Move the levers back a little into the flex MCT detent. This is the flex MCT detent. Flex is a reduced takeoff thrust setting when maximum power isn't needed, saving fuel and engine wear. MCT stands for maximum continuous thrust. Whilst toga provides full power, keeping the engines at 100% thrust for longer than about 5 to 10 minutes can cause excessive wear and damage. MCT is a slightly reduced power setting, but it can be set for an unlimited time, without fear of overstressing the engines. Here in the flex detent is where we'll set the levers for today's takeoff from Gatwick. Move the levers back another notch to the climb detent. Unlike in a Boeing aircraft, Airbus thrust levers do not move in response to the auto thrust. Instead, the levers are manually placed into the climb detent shortly after takeoff, where they will remain for the majority of the flight. The auto thrust can control engine power as needed, with the levers remaining in the climb detent the entire time. Finally, bring the levers all the way back to idle. This is the idle detent, where the engines are at their minimum power. In the final moments before touchdown, you'll move the levers here to reduce thrust for landing, and this will automatically disengage the auto thrust system. This is also the position used for starting the engines. Set the engine mode selector to start. Now set the engine 1 master switch to on. A jet engine typically has two main fans at the front of the engine, one big and one small, known as N1 and N2. Each fan is connected via a shaft to their own set of turbine blades at the back of the engine. The N2 fan is the smaller of the two and starts turning first. Once it gains speed, the air it moves gets pushed over the turbine blades for the N1 fan, causing it to spin. Good, now start engine 2. N2 is rotating, fuel starts being supplied at around 20% N2, at which point the exhaust gas temperature, EGT, starts to rise and N1 starts to spin. Both engines are now running, so we'll perform the after start flow. Good. Now that we've completed the flow actions, we complete the after start checklist. Anti-ice off. Ecam status checked. Pitch trim set. Rudder trim 0. After start checklist complete. Just like on a small aircraft, we check the flight controls for full and free movement before departure, starting with the ailerons. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, rudder full left, full right, neutral. Great, the flight controls look good.
Jetliner 488 clearance available.
Ready to copy, Jetliner 488.
Jetliner 488 cleared to Barcelona via Novma 1 X-ray, runway 26 left, altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 7402.
Jetliner 488 cleared to Barcelona, Novma 1 X-ray, 26 left, altitude 5,000, squawking 7402.
Jetliner 488, read back correct, report ready for taxi.
We've just received our ATC route clearance. We're departing via the Novma 1 X-ray departure from runway 26 left, climbing to an initial stop altitude of 5,000 feet, which is set. We're ready to go. Let's request taxi clearance. Jetliner 488 request taxi.
Jetliner 488, taxi to hold short runway 26 left via Papa Alpha Sierra, holding point Alpha 2.
Papa Alpha Sierra, holding short 26 left at Alpha 2, Jetliner 488. ATC have given us a taxi clearance to holding point Alpha 2. That's pretty much the full length for runway 26 left. Clear left side, clear right side, turn on the taxi light, release the parking brake, and we'll get going. Taxi ahead and turn right at the end onto taxiway Papa, then follow Papa around to the left onto Alpha Sierra to hold short at Alpha 2. Use only the minimum power you need to taxi at about 10 to 15 knots as we're making some sharp turns. Now we're moving, give the brakes a squeeze to check that they're working. Brakes checked. Keep on taxiing and take the next right onto Papa. Turn right here and follow Papa to the end, where we'll turn left to Alpha Sierra. Whilst taxiing, we run through the PEDS check, which is a brief recap of our departure. Performance, departing from Alpha Sierra for 26 left as expected. Engine out, if we have an engine failure, at 1,700 feet we would turn left to Willow. Departure, Novma 1 X-ray, runway 26 left, is on our clearance and in the FMGC. Stop altitude, 5,000 feet from ATC. This is Alpha 2, come to a stop here. Great, now set the parking brake. Now we're at the halting point, we'll complete the before takeoff checklist. Flight controls checked. Briefing confirmed. Flap setting config 1. FMA and takeoff data, V1 blue, V2 magenta, climb nav 5000 blue, 1 FT2 flex. Transponder set. ECAM memo, takeoff no blue. EFB stowed and disconnected. Down to the line. Okay, we've completed our checks down to the line on the checklist. We continue below the line once we're cleared for line-up. We'll return once the cabin crew reports that the cabin is secured for takeoff.